This was a mistake.
Hi, it's a DavKav. Welcome to my first video on my channel, where I try to find my self-respect. Where I talk about an assortment of topics ranging from video games to anything else that I think could make a good video, whilst trying to entertain all of you. Now, with introductions out of the way, let's see what our first topic is. I had to start somewhere.
Bendy and the Ink Machine... Okay, hold on. Bendy and the Ink Machine is a puzzle action horror game created by The Meatly and Mike Mood in 2017. The game is about a retired animator returning to his studio only to find spooky shenanigans are afoot. The game became a huge success, primarily because YouTubers liked screaming at it.
Oh, fuck off! Ah, fuck off! Hi!
And it spawned a multitude of fan art, merch, and dear lord, what is that?
But if you're watching this, you already know about the game, so why should I even bother talking about it? Well, it came to my thoughts that I wonder how many people actually played it. So I wanted to check out if the game was actually a good game. Can this game hold itself up without having to rely on YouTube credit, or the fandoms that it created, or even the... Let's just start the game now, shall we?
The game starts off with a letter from your old boss, Joey Drew, telling you to come back to the studio. You play as Henry, a faceless, silent protagonist.
Alright, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
Oh, never mind, he actually does talk. We'll get back to that. For now, let's just get back to the game. The game itself is separated into 5 chapters, and each chapter is set in a different part of the studio, with chapter 1 being the home of the titular Ink Machine.
And, to forcibly add, because I couldn't think of a good transition, that the graphics on this game look... moist.
I'm serious, this is a really good looking game. I dig the pseudo hand-drawn black and white aesthetic that they're going for, and I completely love that it has sketch marks. As an artist, I'm impressed. I mean, just look at this chair. It looks like a slapdash piece of shit. I hate it. And then there's... oh.
Let's go back. This is getting weird.
Throughout this chapter, you're tasked to find different objects around the facility and put them on these pedestals to make the machine work. This section is here to help you get accustomed to the controls, like moving, interacting with objects, running, and using melee weapons. Oh yeah, and jumping. It's rarely used now, I almost forgot about it, but after getting all the parts necessary, I think, we can now see this machine! How about we don't be here anymore? That seems like a great idea right now. Oh. Well, after that, and that, we can now move on to chapter 2.
If I had to pick a favorite chapter in this entire game, I'd have to go with chapter 2 for really one good reason. You can play the banjo on this level! Wait, that ain't right. What I meant to say is that it has a really cool puzzle mechanic that was implemented using audio logs.
Throughout the game, you'll find audio logs scattered around the studio. Usually they're either for flavor text, or it's to set up an event or character that you're about to encounter.
From the shadows to rain his sweet blessings on all songs. Yes, I still sing them, for I know you are coming to save me, and I will be swept into your final loving embrace. But love requires sacrifice. Can I get an amen?
Well, amen to that, brother.
I said, can I get an amen?
Fuck off, you get one!
But in this chapter, the audio logs are used as a puzzle, in where you need to unlock a door by playing instruments during a certain time. And the only way to find out that is through the audio logs spread around the place. Yeah, it's not rocket science to solve, but maybe they can improve upon it throughout the section.
It's only used once for this entire chapter.
So in this chapter, you have to get into the next floor. However, it's become flooded with ink, so you have to drain it by using 2 valves. One in the previously mentioned locked off area, and the other in the medical bay. Also, there's combat. Yeah, about that. It feels a little stiff to fight, mainly because of how Henry swings his weapon. It's short range and has a delay, which would be fine with a single enemy, but you are usually put into situations where you have to fight multiple enemies. And your reach is pitiful, making you either have to run away to heal, or, you know, bullshit.
It is over, Inkman! I have the high ground! High ground!
So yeah, I died a couple of times because of these moments, and I dread when these type of things pop up. Now getting back on track, after getting the other valve from the monster in the medical bay. Hi, Mrs. Nesbit!
Bye, Mrs. Nesbit.
We can now proceed downstairs to the next level. Oh. Now we proceed to be sacrificed! This is Sammy Lawrence. Remember him? He was on the tape before. And now we get to meet him in person. And he seems... stable-ish.
But the believers must honor their savior. I must have him notice me by it. Listen, I can hear him crawling above, crawling.
Well, like he said,
Love requires sacrifice.
and we're the sacrifice. However, I don't think everyone got the memo. But now we have to get out of here. Or not. So after running for your life from the Ink Demon, we come to the end of the chapter.
Hello? Someone there? I know you're in here. Come out and show yourself. Boris?
Well, hi, Boris. I thought you were dead.
Got better.
Now starts Chapter 3, which happens to be the longest chapter in this entire game. But not in the best way possible. I smell padding!
Yeah, anyway, the chapter begins in Boris's hideout, where he's currently locked us up. But you know what? I kind of like Boris. I mean, he's a dog. That's about it. That's all I need. You can even find bone and he'll chew on it. Anyhow, after we give Boris an unforgettable luncheon, we can now continue forward. We are then introduced to a new player of the game. She seems nice. Enter Susie Campbell, a woman who believes she's actually a cartoon character, and she... Oh, that's not... This leads us to the main point of the chapter. We agree on being her errand boy, as she calls us, for the rest of this entire section, and that's pretty much what we do. We gotta get this, destroy that. God damn enemy waves, etc.
Now, I said that Henry agreed to all of this, but in actuality, it was just kind of thrust upon the man, which kind of goes with what I hinted at in the beginning of the video. Henry is not a silent protagonist, but I feel like he just doesn't talk enough.
Okay, hear me out. Let's take two different first-person characters, Gordon Freeman and Duke Nukem, and see how they work. Gordon Freeman never speaks a line of dialogue throughout Half-Life, nor does he show any visible personality traits at any point in the game. So whatever happens in the game, it's up to the player to react to them. He is more or less a conduit for the player than an actual character. Duke Nukem, on the other hand, does show personality traits, and does give his thoughts on the current situation. If a giant monster comes at him, he'd probably go,
Come to Brazil, you motherfucker.
and then blast it into bits. So he's more of a character than a stand-in for the player.
Bulls.
You get what I'm trying to say here? Cause Henry feels like he's trying to do both what Gordon and Duke are doing, but not pulling it off well. I mean, he'll react to some instances with the enthusiasm of a Ben Stein performance.
Oh my god. Joey, what were you doing? Another day, another dollar. How did this place get so big?
Clear Eyes is awesome.
But when he has full encounters with Sammy or Susie, he just stands there staring. Like, what is he thinking?
And then I will finally be freed from this prison.
Wait a minute, did I leave the oven on back at home? It shouldn't be a problem.